The wind whipped across the frozen surface of Lake Pinewood, carrying a biting chill that made every breath feel like shards of glass in Alex's lungs. A lone German shepherd barked insistently at the ice, pacing, growling, ears pinned forward as if sensing something unseen beneath the frost. The villagers whispered old stories of disappearances, of the lake holding secrets no one dared uncover, but Alex, stubborn and restless, couldn't look away. Something weighted down there, beneath the brittle surface. And that dog knew more than anyone. Every instinct screamed that tonight the lake would reveal its terrible truth. The sky above Lake Pinewood was a steel-gray dome, pressing down on the small town like a weight no one could shrug off. Snow fell in slow, relentless sheets, frosting rooftops and blanketing the skeletal trees that lined the lake. Alex Mercer pulled his coat tighter, teeth chattering despite the layers. His breath formed jagged clouds that vanished quickly in the frigid air. At the frozen edge of the lake, a German shepherd barked incessantly, its paws scraping thin ice with a hollow, metallic rasp. The dog's ears were pinned forward, eyes wide and wild, fixed on a spot near the center of the lake that seemed indistinct, yet somehow magnetic. Alex stepped closer, heart hammering, his boots crunching against snow-crusted ground. "Calm down, boy," he murmured, his voice rough with cold. But the dog ignored him, circling and growling low, its warning clear. Something lay beneath the frozen surface. Something alive, or once alive, that didn't want to be found. A faint crunch from the tree-line made Alex stiffen. Mara's voice broke the winter silence. "Alex." She emerged, boots heavy in the snow, breath coming in ragged puffs. Her sheriff's badge caught the pale winter light, and her eyes widened as she surveyed the scene. "What are you doing out here?" "That dog." She paused, her gaze falling on the dog's tense stance. "Holy, what is he barking at?" Alex shook his head, squinting at the ice. "I don't know, but he won't stop. He's guarding it." "Guarding a frozen lake?" Mara sounded incredulous. "Alex, you're freezing. Come back inside." The dog barked again, shriller this time, circling the same spot. Its claws scraped a pattern in the ice, a warning Alex couldn't ignore. "No, Mara, look." He knelt and pressed a gloved hand to the surface. The ice shivered faintly under his touch, brittle and uneven. "Something's down there." Mara exhaled sharply, her arms crossed over her chest. "If it's someone could be hurt. We should call for backup." A shadow detached itself from the trees, and the crunch of snow heralded another arrival. Henry Cole stepped forward, his thick coat dusted with frost, boots leaving deep impressions in the snow. Known locally for his diving skills and his moral flexibility, Henry had a hunger in his eyes that unsettled both Alex and Mara. "You talking about the mutt?" he drawled, voice rough. "Or the lake?" "Both," Alex replied cautiously. "The dog won't stop. He's trying to tell us something." Henry grinned, a slow, dangerous smirk. "Lake Pinewood's full of old secrets. I've been under it plenty. People think it's just water and ice, but sometimes there's more. Sometimes there's something worth seeing." Mara's eyes narrowed. "Henry, this isn't a game. That dog, he's scared for a reason." Henry shrugged. "Maybe. Or maybe it's just a dog being dramatic. But if you want to find out, you need guts, not badges." Alex felt a twinge of unease. Mara, too, seemed torn. She exhaled, eyes flicking between Alex and Henry. "Fine," she said, voice tight with reluctant resolve. "But if anything goes wrong, it's on you, Henry." The trio advanced cautiously toward the lake. The dog led, tail stiff, body low, every step punctuated by the hollow snap of ice under paw and boot. The air smelled of frozen pine and decay from the edges of the lake, an odor so sharp it made Alex gag slightly. Each step stretched the tension, each crunch underfoot a reminder that the ice could betray them at any moment. Alex knelt again, examining the lake's surface. "It's thin here, but there's a pattern. Something displaced the ice, like it's moving underneath." Henry crouched, a glint of excitement in his eyes. "Yeah, I see it. Could be debris or a body." Alex's stomach tightened. "A body? Alive or dead?" Henry said casually. "We're about to find out." The wind cut through the trees with sudden violence, biting at exposed skin. The dog barked frantically, pacing in tight circles, hackles raised, growling as if it understood more than they did. Alex shivered for reasons beyond the cold. Something beneath that ice was aware of them, watching, waiting. Mara swallowed hard, her breath trembling. If it's a body, why hasn't anyone reported it? The lake's been frozen for weeks. Alex shook his head. Sometimes people hide things. Sometimes they hope no one will find out. And sometimes, he trailed off, glancing at Henry. Sometimes the person hiding it is right under our noses. Henry laughed low, sharp. Ooh, this is getting good. I like suspense. His eyes roamed the frozen expanse with a dangerous gleam. I've seen worse under the ice, but nothing like this. Trust me. The ice groaned beneath their weight. Alex glanced nervously at the lake, noticing tiny fissures racing outward like spiderwebs. The dog barked again, frantic and insistent. Then, faintly, something shifted beneath the ice. A ripple, subtle but deliberate. A shadow moving slowly, dark against the pale frozen surface. A hand? A face? Alex could not tell, and the uncertainty made his stomach twist. Mara's face drained of color. If that alive, we need to get help. Henry's grin widened, teeth flashing. Alive or dead, we're about to find out. Alex felt a jolt of dread. The ice is not stable. Be careful. Step lightly. But caution came too late. A loud crack split the winter air. A jagged line ran across the lake, like lightning frozen in time. The dog yelped and leapt back. Snow sprayed into the air, landing on their coats as the ice buckled and groaned. Alex grabbed Mara's arm. Back! Everyone back! Henry laughed, reckless. No time. We need to see it now. The dark shape beneath the ice became clearer, shifting closer to the fragile surface. Alex's breath caught. The outline was unmistakable. A body trapped beneath, face obscured by ice, limbs twisted. The wind howled, carrying a hollow, sorrowful whistle across the lake. The dog barked louder, circling, pacing, its growls frantic, almost human in their urgency. Alex felt a shiver crawl down his spine. The creature beneath the ice was alive, or it had been, and someone in their town, had gone to great lengths to hide it. Mara's hand went to her mouth. Oh, God! Oh, God! Henry crouched, eager, ignoring the danger. We're getting it out. Come on, let's do this. Alex hesitated, torn between urgency and fear. The ice underfoot protested, small cracks spreading outward. One misstep, and they could all fall into the freezing water, the current strong enough to sweep them under. But something inside him, some stubborn, unrelenting instinct, pushed him forward. The dog barked again, this time directly at Alex, eyes wide, urgent. It circled a thin sheet of ice just above the dark figure, growling like a sentinel warning them off. Alex realized then, the dog wasn't just scared, it was protective. Whatever was under the ice, it mattered to the dog, and perhaps in some small instinctive way, it mattered to all of them. Mara exhaled, voice trembling. We have to help it. Whoever or whatever it is. Henry's grin remained predatory. We help or we profit. Depends on who finds it first. The wind howled again, louder, carrying with it the scent of pine and something darker, metallic. The ice creaked under the pressure of their boots. Alex could see the shadow more clearly now. Fingers pressed against the underside of the frozen surface, the face barely visible. Panic and sorrow rippled through him. Whoever this was, they hadn't been found in time. But they still might be. The dog barked, frantic, circling them, warning them not to linger yet compelling them to act. Alex swallowed hard, heart pounding. We're doing this together. Carefully. We can't let it break. And so, with the wind slicing through their coats, teeth chattering, and the dog watching like a dark guardian, they began the perilous task of freeing whatever waited beneath the frozen lake. The first cracks had already begun to spiderweb across the lake, faint fissures racing outward with every cautious step. The wind howled through the tree-line, carrying a bitter chill that cut through Alex's gloves and jacket like knives. The dog barked continuously, pacing and growling, as if it understood the danger more than any of them. Alex's breath came in ragged bursts. Each inhalation burned like fire in his lungs. "Alex, we need to move carefully," Mara called, her voice taut with fear. Her eyes darted to the widening cracks in the ice, then back to the shadowy figure below. One false step and... "I know," Alex said, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through him. He knelt beside the dog, placing a hand on its thick fur to calm it, though the animal's energy was far from calmable. The German shepherd barked again, circling, whining, then pressed its nose to the ice as though trying to communicate with whatever lay beneath. Alex felt a pang of unease. This wasn't ordinary fear. The dog wasn't protecting them. It was protecting it. Henry, meanwhile, crouched at the edge of the fissure, eyes glinting with anticipation, gloves scraping against the ice. "Come on, people," he said, voice low and rough. "We've waited long enough. Let's get out." Mara shot him a sharp look. "Henry, this isn't a stunt. Be careful. That thing, whatever it is, could be alive. And if it's not," she trailed off, the thought of what they might find silencing her. Henry's grin never wavered. "Alive or dead, it's worth seeing. Trust me." Alex's stomach twisted. Henry's thrill-seeking recklessness made him unpredictable. The man had always skirted rules for profit or excitement, a morally gray figure who could easily turn the situation into catastrophe. But they needed his diving skills to reach the body beneath the ice, and Alex couldn't turn away. Not yet. Carefully, they moved to the section where the ice was thickest, but even that was tenuous. Every step sent tiny shivers through the frozen surface, faint cracks echoing across the silent lake. The dog barked louder, hopping back, growling, as if warning them not to linger. Alex realized that the animal was the only one who fully understood the risk, yet refused to leave. "Look," Mara said, pointing to a small, partially submerged patch where the ice had thinned. "That's where it shifted. That's where we should try first." Henry nodded, crouching lower. "I'll go first. Just keep the dog back." The dog growled, a deep, guttural sound that vibrated in the air. Its eyes fixed on Henry, unblinking, almost accusatory. Alex knelt beside the dog, murmuring soothing words, though it was clear the animal wouldn't be comforted easily. Finally, with a wary glance at Alex, the dog retreated a few steps, ears still pinned. Henry leaned over the fissure, peering into the dark water beneath the ice. His gloved hands probed the surface, testing the depth. The water was a dark, almost black void, opaque with frozen slush. And then movement. Something shifted, just enough to catch Henry's attention. A pale, small hand pressed against the underside of the ice, fingers splayed, trembling. His breath hitched. "Oh, my God!" Alex knelt beside him, peering over the edge. Mara's hand flew to her mouth. The shadowy outline became clearer now. A young girl, trapped beneath the frozen surface, her dark hair fanning out in the icy water, eyes wide with terror. Her body shivered, the cold stealing strength from her limbs. Alex's heart clenched. "Hold on. We're getting you out." Henry's expression was a mix of awe and hunger, but Alex didn't care. He grabbed the ropes from his pack, tying them into a harness for Henry to descend. "Careful," he instructed. "No sudden movements. We can't break the ice." Henry nodded, his bravado momentarily subdued by the gravity of the situation. With slow, precise movements, he lowered himself into the frigid water, ice scraping against his gloves and jacket. The water was a shock, stealing breath and clarity. Below, the girl's face seemed to flicker between hope and despair, eyes locking onto Henry's as though recognizing a lifeline. Mara shivered, holding Alex's arm. She's alive." Her voice trembled, a mix of relief and horror. "Thank God she's alive." Alex nodded, but his mind raced. Who had left her here? How long had she been trapped? And most importantly, why had no one reported her disappearance? The dog paced frantically along the ice, barking at Henry, then circling, then returning to the girl's position. Its behavior was unnerving, protective, almost human in its intensity. Alex realized with a start that the dog's loyalty was not to them. It was to the girl. Somehow, instinctively, it knew she needed to survive. Henry's gloved hands gripped the edges of the harness, slowly maneuvering the girl toward the surface. Her teeth chattered violently, and her small body shivered uncontrollably. Alex and Mara reached down to help, gripping her arms and pulling her up inch by inch. The ice protested under their weight, cracks spreading further with each motion. Finally, she broke the surface, gasping, coughing, and sputtering. The air burned her lungs, but she was alive. Alex wrapped her in a thermal blanket from his pack, pulling her close to warm her frozen body. Mara knelt beside them, checking for injuries, her face tight with concern. The girl clung to the blanket, teeth chattering, eyes wide and frightened. Alex tried to speak, voice soft. "It's okay, you're safe now. You're safe." Through chattering teeth, she whispered, barely audible, "The man." Her gaze flicked to Henry, then the shadows beyond the tree line. He put me here." Alex exchanged a glance with Mara. "Henry." His tone was sharp, accusatory, but Henry only shrugged, expression unreadable. Mara's jaw tightened. "We need to get her somewhere warm. Now." They lifted the girl carefully, carrying her back to the tree line where a car was parked. The dog followed closely, barking periodically, but never leaving her side. Alex realized then that the animal had been her guardian all along, watching and protecting in ways humans could not. Once in the car, Alex drove slowly back toward town. The girl huddled between him and Mara, the blanket wrapped tightly around her. Henry walked beside them, silent now, the thrill of the rescue replaced with a curious, almost dark stillness. The girl whispered more about her ordeal, how she had been taken by a man named Victor, kept in a hidden cabin near the lake, and then abandoned when he feared discovery. Her story was fragmented, breathless, terrified, but it painted a picture of calculated cruelty. Alex's heart ached. The betrayal, the abandonment. It was almost too much to bear. Mara's hand shook as she wrote down what the girl said, eyes glistening with suppressed tears. The dog, finally calm, rested its head on the girl's lap, eyes never leaving her face. Alex reached over and petted it gently. "You saved her," he murmured. The animal's ears flicked, acknowledging him, but its focus remained entirely on the girl. Henry, standing a few steps away, finally spoke. "She's lucky. Most people wouldn't have made it." His voice was flat, almost chilling, but there was a glint of something else too, perhaps admiration or begrudging respect. Mara looked at him sharply. "She survived because of instinct and because we didn't mess it up. That's all." Alex nodded, thinking of the icy lake, the fractures, the shadows beneath the surface. The girl's rescue was only the beginning. Somewhere out there, Victor was still free, and the town, small, quiet, seemingly safe, held secrets that could shatter everything they thought they knew. The dog nudged the girl gently, as if reminding them all of something unspoken. Protection, loyalty, and courage had come from the most unexpected places. Alex realized that the creature's connection to her was deeper than instinct. It was survival, a silent bond forged in fear and trust. As night fell over Pinewood, the sky darkening to a deep indigo, the three adults and the girl sat in tense silence, the wind howling outside, carrying the smell of pine and ice. The lake, frozen and deceptive, gleamed in the distance, hiding the dark truths beneath. Alex looked at the girl, then at the dog, then at Henry. "We have to be ready," he said quietly. "Victor." "He's not finished." Mara nodded, voice firm despite the fear. "No, and we need to figure out who we can trust. Because someone's been hiding him, maybe someone we know." Henry's smirk returned, though quieter this time. "Trust is overrated," he said. "But survival, that's another story." Alex stared at him, the weight of the night settling over them. Somewhere beneath the frozen lake, something terrible had almost claimed a life. And somewhere beyond the shadows, Victor waited, unaware that the bond between the girl and the dog had just turned the tide. The wind carried the dog's low growl across the car, a sound filled with warning and determination. Alex understood then. The lake had secrets, yes, but so did the people around it. And the coming days would test every loyalty, every moral choice, every ounce of courage they had left. The town of Pinewood slept under a thin veil of snow, unaware of the night's events. But Alex, Mara, Henry, and the girl, now bundled safely in the sheriff's temporary office, felt no rest. The wind rattled the windows, carrying whispers of the frozen lake and the secrets it had almost claimed. The girl, who had finally fallen asleep in the warmth of a blanket, stirred occasionally, murmuring fragments of her ordeal. Her hair was damp and clung to her pale cheeks, and her small body shook even in the thick layers of clothing. Alex sat nearby, staring at the dog. The German shepherd rested its massive head on the girl's knees, eyes alert, ears flicking at every sound. It was impossible not to marvel at the bond forming between them, a connection forged in danger and trust. But as Alex watched, unease gnawed at the edges of his mind. Rescue was only the first step. Danger was far from over. Mara leaned back in her chair, rubbing her temples. "We need to talk about Victor. He's not going to let this go. He's smart, resourceful, and he knows Pinewood better than anyone." Henry, sitting on the edge of the table, smirked. "You worry too much. The girl's safe, the dog did its job, and the lake? Done. We move on." Alex's gaze hardened. "No, Henry, you don't understand. He left her there for a reason. And someone help him, or at least look the other way. That means there's someone in town we can't trust. Maybe more than one." Henry shrugged, but the faint flicker in his eyes betrayed his attention. He had seen more than most of them, had skirted the moral line more than they cared to acknowledge. Yet even he recognized the weight of the situation. The hours passed, snow piling higher outside, until morning bled pale gray light into the room. The girl finally woke fully, eyes wide, scanning the room. Her gaze fell on Alex and Mara. I don't want to go back there," she whispered, voice trembling. "It'll come for me." Alex leaned forward. "We're not letting that happen. We'll protect you." His voice was firm, but he could not hide the dread in his own heart. Victor was clever, unpredictable, and ruthless. He had abandoned her at the lake, but that did not mean he would give up. The dog stood, tail stiff, ears erect. It paced the room briefly, then sat squarely between Alex and the girl, eyes locked on the door. Alex felt a chill. It was as if the animal understood more than they did, sensing the danger in ways humans could not. Mara finally spoke, voice quiet but sharp. "We need a plan. Victor's hiding somewhere close. Maybe in town. Maybe in the woods. Whoever helped him, they'll come back too. And if we're not careful," she trailed off, fear sharpening her tone. Hours later, Henry returned from his makeshift reconnaissance, his boots wet with snow. "I found something," he said, voice low. He unfolded a crumpled map, edges frost stiffened. "There's an abandoned cabin, east side of the lake. Could be him." Alex studied the map, a sinking feeling settling in his stomach. "We go there together, carefully, no mistakes." Mara nodded, though the tremor in her hands betrayed her fear. The girl clutched the blanket tightly, eyes darting between the adults and the dog. The animal growled softly, ears flat, signaling that danger was near. The forest on the east side of Lake Pinewood was dense, snow-laden, and eerily silent. Each step they took crunched sharply against the frozen ground, echoing in the hollow air. Shadows stretched long in the weak morning light, giving life to shapes that weren't there. Alex led, with Mara close behind, the dog moving ahead like a silent scout. Henry followed, gloves clenched, a faint smirk of excitement still lingering despite the tension. The cabin appeared suddenly, half hidden behind pines, smoke curling faintly from a broken chimney. Victor had not abandoned all caution. The windows were dark, and the door hung slightly ajar. The smell of stale wood and damp pine hit them the moment they approached. Alex motioned for silence. "Mara, you stay here with the girl. Henry, I'm going first." Carefully. The dog barked once, low and warning, then stayed by the girl's side. Alex swallowed, pushing the door open slowly. Inside, the cabin smelled of decay and human neglect. Dust coated the floor, broken furniture scattered, and a faint crimson stain marked the edge of a rug near the corner. Then a sound, a shuffle, almost a whisper. Alex froze, heart hammering. "Who's there?" he called, voice steady. No answer. Henry emerged from the shadows, crouched, flashlight in hand. She's here somewhere. He's hiding. A creak of floorboards made them spin. And then the girl's voice muffled, coming from the back room. Alex, Mara. They rushed forward, finding her bound, gagged, eyes wide with terror. Victor stood behind her, a crooked smile, eyes dark and gleaming with malice. His presence filled the cabin like smoke, suffocating in cold. You found her, Victor said, voice low and venomous. But do you know how easy it was to get her here? How easy it would be to disappear again? Alex stepped forward, fists clenched. It ends now, Victor. Henry moved too quickly, blocking Alex momentarily. Wait, let's think. We can use this. His expression was unreadable, morally ambiguous as ever. Mara's eyes narrowed. Use her? Henry, what are you talking about? Before Henry could answer, the dog leapt, teeth bared, a low growl vibrating in its chest. Victor staggered back, startled. The dog lunged again, snapping at his arms, forcing him to the floor. Alex rushed forward, untangling the girl from her bonds, while Mara grabbed Victor's hands and twisted, ensuring he couldn't strike again. It was chaos, a blur of adrenaline, snow, fear, and determination. The cabin seemed to shrink around them, walls pressing in, as if the house itself were a witness to the cruelty within. Finally, Victor lay restrained, the girl safe. The dog sat back, head tilted, observing, its growls softening into low whines of relief. Alex knelt beside the girl. It's over. You're safe now. The girl's tears fell freely. Thank you for not giving up on me. Mara looked at Henry, voice cutting. You could have done something reckless. Why didn't you? Henry shrugged. Because sometimes the right choice is the one that saves the kid, not the glory. You don't always need to be moral to do the right thing. His grin was faint, but it carried a weight of truth. He was morally gray, yes, but capable of unexpected decency. Outside, the dog barked once, then trotted to the edge of the clearing, sniffing the wind, ears alert. Alex realized it was guarding not just a girl, but their trust, their fragile unity forged in fear. As they walked back toward the warmth of the town, snow falling softly, Alex glanced back at the frozen lake. It gleamed in the morning light, beautiful and dangerous, hiding secrets it might never reveal. But one truth had emerged clearly. Loyalty, courage, and instinct had overcome cruelty, greed, and fear, sometimes in most unexpected ways. In the days that followed, the girl recovered, and Victor was taken into custody. But the bond between her and the dog endured, a silent, unbreakable tether formed in terror and ice. Alex, Mara, and even Henry were forever changed, their moral lines blurred, their courage tested, their hearts marked by the events at Lake Pinewood. And as the dog lay at her feet, eyes soft but watchful, Alex understood the final lesson Frozen Lake had taught them all. Some guardians come not from law or reason, but from instinct, loyalty, and love, the kind that doesn't ask for thanks, only watches, waits, and protects. The wind whispered through the pines, carrying snowflakes that sparkled like shards of memory. Pinewood was quiet again, but the echoes of that night, the danger, the courage, the loyalty, lingered, a haunting reminder that even the coldest, darkest places, hope could survive.